The story of how Elvis Presley purchased Graceland is a fascinating chapter in the King of Rock and Roll's life, symbolizing not just the rise of a star, but also a young man's quest for privacy and a place to call home. In the spring of 1957, Elvis was just 22 years old, but he was already a superstar. His career was skyrocketing, with hit singles like Heartbreak Hotel and his electrifying performances on TV propelling him to fame. However, the fame came with a downside. Elvis, who had been living with his parents in a modest house on Audubon Drive in Memphis, found the increasing lack of privacy overwhelming. Crowds of fans would gather outside his home, day and night, hoping for a glimpse of the young star. Elvis knew it was time for a change, a bigger place where he and his family could have some peace. That's when Graceland came into the picture. Graceland was originally owned by a prominent Memphis family, who named the estate after a relative named Grace. The house itself was set on 13.8 acres of land, just a short drive from downtown Memphis. It had everything Elvis was looking for: wide open space, grandeur, and the privacy he craved. In March 1957, Elvis's parents, Vernon and Gladys Presley, along with his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, began the negotiations. Elvis purchased Graceland for $102,500, a huge amount at the time, but pocket change for a rising superstar. To put things in perspective, that would be about $1 million today. Elvis was immediately drawn to the property's southern charm. It had a long driveway that led up to a stately white-columned mansion surrounded by rolling fields and trees. It was the kind of home that a boy from Tupelo, Mississippi, who grew up in a small shotgun house, could only dream about. The Presleys moved in later that year, and Elvis set about making the house truly his own. Over time, Graceland would see significant transformations. They added the famous music gates, jungle-themed rooms, and even a racquetball court. It became not just a home, but a symbol of his growing legacy. But Graceland was more than just a status symbol for Elvis. It was his refuge. Here he could escape the madness of fame, invite friends and family for gatherings, and unwind after long tours. It was at Graceland that he spent some of his happiest and most private moments, and it remained his home until his untimely death in 1977. Today, Graceland is one of the most visited homes in the U.S., attracting millions of fans each year who come to see where the King of Rock and Roll lived, worked, and dreamed. But in 1957, it was simply a home. Elvis' way of finding some peace in a world that couldn't get enough of him